You know that feeling when your heart just stops? Not in a romantic way, in a way that makes you question everything you thought you knew about the person standing right next to you. That's what happened when I watched my husband Ethan lean against the kitchen counter, his hand casually brushing Michelle's arm as he laughed at something she said. The same laugh he used to save just for me. I'm standing there, holding two drinks, one for him, one for me, like the dutiful wife I've become without even realizing it. And he doesn't even see me. The party is loud. Everyone's talking over each other, music pumping through the speakers, but all I can hear is the sound of my own breathing getting shallow. Sarah, right. I turn around and there's James, the chief guest everyone's been talking about all night. Successful entrepreneur, keynote speaker, the kind of man who commands a room just by walking into it. Yeah, I managed to say, still clutching those drinks like they're anchors. He glances at Ethan and Michelle, then back at me. You look like you could use some fresh air. I should say no. I should walk over to my husband and hand him his drink and pretend I didn't see what I just saw. That's what the old Sarah would do. But I'm tired of being the old Sarah. Actually, yeah, I could. Let me tell you how we got here. Because this isn't just about tonight. This is about 3 years of marriage that started feeling more like a performance than a partnership. Ethan and I met in college. He was the guy everyone noticed. Tall, confident, always had the perfect comeback. I was the girl who noticed him noticing everyone else. But somehow he chose me. For a while, it felt like magic. He'd leave little notes in my textbooks, send me playlists with songs that reminded him of me, take photos of us everywhere we went, like he wanted to document every moment. I still have those playlists saved on my phone. Pathetic, right? The wedding was beautiful. Small, intimate, exactly what we both wanted. I wore my grandmother's pearls and he cried when he saw me walking down the aisle. In the photos we looked so happy, so sure of ourselves, so convinced that love would be enough. But love isn't enough when your husband starts treating you like furniture. It happened gradually, the way these things always do. First, he stopped asking about my day. Then, he stopped really listening when I talked. Then, he stopped looking up from his phone when I entered the room. I started leaving sticky notes around the house. Little reminders. Don't forget dinner with my parents Saturday. Grocery list. I love you. He'd respond to the practical ones. The romantic ones would disappear without acknowledgement. I told myself it was just a phase. Marriage is work, right? Everyone says that, like you have to put in effort. So I put in effort. I planned date nights. I cooked his favourite meals. I wore the lingerie he used to compliment. Nothing. And then Michelle moved back to town. Michelle, his college girlfriend, the one who got away before he met me, the one he'd mentioned maybe a few too many times in our early days together. She's just a friend now, he'd say. Ancient history. Ancient history that he started texting at 11 p.m. Ancient history that he'd smile at his phone about. Ancient history that somehow knew exactly when to reach out during our rough patches. I'm not proud of what I did next. But I looked through his phone. I know it's wrong. I know it's a violation of trust. But trust is a two-way street, and I was starting to feel like I was walking it alone. The messages weren't explicit. They were worse. They were intimate, inside jokes, shared memories, the kind of emotional intimacy that I'd been craving from him for months. Remember when we used to sneak into the old library after hours? You always did make me laugh harder than anyone else. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if... That last one was from her. His response was 3 dots and a heart emoji. A heart emoji. When was the last time he'd sent me a heart emoji? I confronted him. Of course I did. I'm not a doormat, despite what it might look like from the outside. It's nothing, Sarah. You're being paranoid. She's just going through a rough time. I'm being supportive. You're reading too much into it. Gaslighting 101. Make the person questioning you feel crazy for having perfectly reasonable concerns. So, I stopped questioning. I stopped looking through his phone. I stopped asking where he was going when he said he had to work late, or grab drinks with the guys. I became the wife who didn't ask questions. And tonight, at this party, I'm watching the consequences of my silence play out in real time. So, what do you do, Sarah? James asks as we step onto the back patio. The cool air hits my face and I realise I've been holding my breath. I'm a graphic designer, I say, setting the drinks down on a nearby table. Freelance, mostly, some corporate work. That's amazing. Creative work is so important. What kind of projects are you working on? When was the last time someone asked me about my work? Really asked, not just made polite conversation? I'm actually working on a series of illustrations for a children's book, I hear myself saying. It's about a little girl who collects lost things and finds homes for them. That sounds beautiful. What inspired it? I look back through the window. Ethan is still talking to Michelle. She's touching his arm again. He's not moving away. I guess I know what it feels like to be lost. The words slip out before I can stop them. James doesn't respond right away. He just looks at me with this expression I can't quite read. I'm sorry, I say quickly. I don't know why I said that. I'm not usually so honest. Depressing. He laughs, but not in a way that makes me feel small. Honesty isn't depressing. It's rare. We stand there for a moment, just breathing in the night air. I can hear the party continuing inside, but out here it's peaceful, quiet. Can I tell you something? James says. I nod. I've been watching you tonight. Not in a creepy way, he adds quickly, but you have this sadness in your eyes. Like you're carrying something heavy that no one else can see. My throat tightens. I don't know what you mean. I think you do. He's right. I do know. I've been carrying the weight of my marriage alone for so long that I forgot what it felt like to have someone notice. I should go back inside, I say, but I don't move. Should you? Or do you feel like you should? The question hits me like a physical blow, because he's right. I don't want to go back inside. I don't want to watch my husband flirt with his ex. I don't want to pretend everything is fine when it's not. But I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to be the understanding wife, the one who doesn't make scenes, the one who trusts her husband even when he's giving her every reason not to. I've been married for 3 years, I say quietly, and I don't think my husband has really seen me in at least 2 of them. Then maybe it's time to stop waiting for him to notice you're gone. Inside, the party is getting louder. Someone's turned up the music. People are dancing now, crowding the living room. I make my way back through the crowd looking for Ethan. I find him right where I left him, except now Michelle is practically pressed against him, her hand on his chest as she whispers something in his ear. He's smiling. Not the polite smile he gives me when I try to tell him about my day. Not the distracted smile he gives me when I ask if he wants to watch a movie together. This is the smile I remember from our early days, the one that made me feel like I was the only person in the world. Except now, he's giving it to someone else. I watch for what feels like hours, but is probably only minutes. Watch her lean closer. Watch him not pull away. Watch him laugh at something she says and run his hand through his hair the way he used to do when he was nervous around me. That's when I notice something that makes my blood run cold. He's not wearing his wedding ring. I look down at my own hand. My rings are still there. The engagement ring he proposed with on the beach in Mexico. The wedding band we picked out together, engraved with our wedding date. But his finger is bare. When did he stop wearing it? How did I not notice? How long have I been the only one in this marriage? The realization hits me like a wave. I'm drowning in it. I can't breathe. I need to get out of here. I turn around and almost run straight into James. Hey, he says softly. You okay? I shake my head. I'm not okay. I haven't been okay in a long time. I need to leave, I say. Do you want me to call you a ride? I look back at Ethan one more time. He still hasn't noticed I'm gone. Michelle is showing him something on her phone now, and they're both laughing. Actually, I say, making a decision that will change everything. Would you like to get out of here with me? James smiles. I thought you'd never ask. We leave through the front door. I don't say goodbye to Ethan. I don't make excuses or explanations. For the first time in 3 years, I just leave. And you know what? The world doesn't end. We walk to James's car in comfortable silence. He opens the passenger door for me. When was the last time someone did that? And I get in. Where to? He asks. Anywhere but here. As we drive away, I pull out my phone and see 3 missed calls from my best friend Mia. She's been trying to get me to leave Ethan for months. She says I deserve better. Maybe she's right. Maybe I do deserve better than a husband who stops wearing his wedding ring and flirts with his ex while his wife stands invisible in the same room. Maybe I deserve someone who sees me when I walk into a room instead of looking through me. Maybe I deserve to be someone's first choice instead of their consolation prize. I don't text Ethan to tell him where I am. Let him wonder. Let him notice I'm gone. For once, let him be the one waiting for me to come home. The city lights blur past the window as James drives, and for the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe. This is just the beginning. James takes me to this little all-night diner on the outskirts of town, the kind of place with cracked vinyl booths and coffee that's been sitting too long. It's perfect. We slide into a corner booth and I realise I'm shaking. Not from cold, from adrenaline, from the terrifying freedom of doing something completely out of character. You sure you're okay? James asks, sliding a menu across the table. I just walked out with my husband at a party, I say, staring at the menu without really seeing it. I'm not sure I know what okay means anymore. The waitress comes over. She's probably in her 60s, with kind eyes and a name tag that says Betty. She doesn't ask questions when James orders coffee and pie for both of us. Some people just know when you need sugar and caffeine more than explanations. So, James says once Betty walks away, want to talk about it? Do I? I've been keeping everything inside for so long. Mia's been trying to get me to open up for months, but there's something about sitting across from a stranger that makes it easier, less complicated. He stopped seeing me, I say quietly. Not all at once, gradually, like I was disappearing in slow motion. James nods. He doesn't try to fix it or minimize it. He just listens. I used to think marriage was supposed to be easy, that if you loved someone enough, everything else would fall into place. I laugh, but it sounds hollow. God, I was naive. Love isn't enough, James says. I learned that the hard way too. You're divorced? Separated, going on 8 months now. He runs his finger around the rim of his coffee cup. Married 15 years. Thought we had it all figured out. Turns out we were just really good at pretending. Betty brings our pie, apple with a scoop of vanilla ice cream that's already starting to melt. I take a bite, and it tastes like comfort, like childhood, like before everything got so complicated. What happened? I ask. We grew apart, or maybe we were never really together in the first place. Hard to tell the difference sometimes. He takes a sip of his coffee, but I stayed too long, kept thinking if I just tried harder, if I just gave more, if you just disappeared a little more each day, maybe that would be enough. Exactly. We eat in comfortable silence for a while. My phone buzzes on the table, a text from Ethan. Where are you, people are asking. Not, are you okay? Not, I'm worried about you. Just, people are asking. I show James the message. He shakes his head. Let me guess. He's more concerned about appearances than your well-being. Bingo! Another buzz. This time, it's Mia. Girl, where are you? Ethan is asking everyone if they've seen you. He looks panicked. At least someone noticed I was gone. I type back, I'm fine. Tell him I went home. It's not technically a lie, I just don't specify which home. Tell me about your book, James says, pushing his empty plate away. The one about lost things. I am surprised he remembered. Ethan never remembers the details of my projects. It's about this little girl named Luna who finds things that people have lost. Not just objects, but pieces of themselves. Dreams they gave up, courage they misplaced, love they thought was gone forever. And she finds homes for them. She helps people remember they were never really lost. They were just forgotten, overlooked, like they needed someone to see them again, to remember they existed. James is quiet for a moment, studying my face. That's not really about a little girl, is it? My throat tightens. No, I guess it's not. When did you stop feeling seen? The question catches me off guard. I think about it, Really think about it. 2 years ago, maybe longer, Ethan got promoted at work, started travelling more, coming home later, and I started making myself smaller, taking up less space, needing less attention. I thought if I could just be easy, if I could just be low maintenance, he'd appreciate me more. But you just became invisible instead. Yeah, my phone buzzes again. Ethan. Sarah, this isn't funny. Where are you? I turn the phone face down on the table. You don't have to answer, James says. I know, that's what's scary. I've been answering every text, every call, every demand for 3 years. And now I'm sitting in a diner with a man I barely know, and I feel more like myself than I have in months. Maybe that's telling you something. Maybe it is. James drives me home around midnight. The house is dark except for the porch light I left on. Ethan's car isn't in the driveway yet. Thank you, I say, turning to face him. For tonight, for listening, for seeing me. Thank you for letting me. We sit there for a moment, the engine running, neither of us moving to get out. Sarah, he says finally, I know we just met, but you deserve better than this. You know that, right? I nod, but I'm not sure I believe it yet. Can I give you my number? I'm not trying to. I just think you might need a friend. Someone who gets it. I take his phone and type in my number. He calls it, so I have his. James, I say, as I'm getting out of the car, what you said earlier about staying too long. How did you know when it was time to leave? When I realised I was grieving my marriage while I was still in it, the words hit me like a punch to the chest. Because that's exactly what I've been doing, mourning something that died without my permission. I watch him drive away, then stand in my driveway for a long time looking at my house. Our house. This place that's supposed to be home, but feels more like a prison I've locked myself in. Inside, everything looks the same, but I feel different, like I've crossed some invisible line I can't uncross. I go to the kitchen and see the sticky note I left on the coffee maker this morning. Have a great day! Love you! With a little heart drawn next to it. Ethan's coffee cup is still in the sink, unwashed. He didn't even see the note. I peel it off and throw it away. I'm in bed when I hear Ethan's car in the driveway. It's almost 2 a.m. I close my eyes and pretend to be asleep. He comes in quietly, trying not to wake me. How considerate. He undresses in the dark and slides into bed beside me. Sarah? He whispers. I don't answer. I know you're awake. I turn over to face him. In the darkness, I can barely make out his features. Where were you tonight? He asks. I could ask you the same thing. I was at the party, looking for you. You just disappeared. I was right there, Ethan. I was standing 10 feet away from you for most of the night. I was talking to Michelle. She's going through a divorce. She needed someone to... Don't. I cut him off. Don't lie to me anymore. I saw you. I saw how you looked at her, how you touched her, how you smiled at her. He's quiet for a long moment. Nothing happened, he says finally. Something did happen. You forgot you were married. You forgot I existed. You forgot to wear your wedding ring. I hear him suck in a breath. When did you stop wearing it, Ethan? Sarah, it's not what you think. When? A few weeks ago. I was working out and it got caught on something. I took it off and I forgot to put it back on. You forgot to put back on the symbol of our marriage. For weeks. It doesn't mean anything. It means everything. We lie there in the dark, both of us breathing, but neither of us speaking. The silence feels heavy, final. I met someone tonight, I say quietly. Ethan goes very still beside me. Nothing happened, I add, echoing his words. But for the first time in years, someone saw me. Really saw me. And it made me realize how long I've been invisible to you. Sarah, I'm tired, Ethan. I'm tired of being married to someone who treats me like I'm optional. I'm tired of loving someone who's already checked out. I'm tired of being the only one fighting for us. I haven't checked out. When's the last time you asked me about my day? When's the last time you complimented something I was wearing? When's the last time you looked up from your phone when I walked into the room? He doesn't answer, because he can't. I'm working on a children's book, I say. I've been working on it for 3 months. I've never told you about it because I knew you wouldn't ask any follow-up questions. You'd just say, "That's nice," and change the subject. That's not. It's about a little girl who finds lost things. And tonight, I realised I've been lost for a long time, and you never even noticed I was gone. I roll over, facing away from him. "Sarah, please, let's talk about this tomorrow when we're both thinking clearly." I am thinking clearly. For the first time in a long time, I don't sleep. I lie there listening to Ethan's breathing become steady and deep while my mind races. At 3 a.m, I get up and go to my office, the room that used to be a guest bedroom before I claimed it as my creative space, the one room in this house that feels completely mine. I pull out my laptop and open the document with my children's book, Luna's story, the little girl who finds lost things. I start typing. Luna had been searching for so long, she'd almost forgotten what she was looking for. But that night, sitting in the diner with the cracked vinyl booths and the kind waitress named Betty, she remembered. She wasn't looking for lost things at all. She was looking for herself, and maybe, just maybe, she'd finally found her. I write until the sun comes up. Write until I hear Ethan's alarm go off. Write until I hear him get in the shower, get dressed, leave for work. He doesn't come to check on me, doesn't say goodbye. He just leaves, like he's been doing for months. At 8 a.m, my phone buzzes with a text from James. "Hope you're okay this morning. Remember what I said about deserving better." I stare at the message for a long time. Then I type back, "I'm starting to believe you." For the first time in 3 years, I am starting to believe I deserve more than being someone's afterthought. The question is, what am I going to do about it? The next few days pass in this strange bubble of clarity. Ethan goes to work. I stay home. We move around each other like polite strangers sharing the same space. He makes his coffee. I make mine. He reads the news on his tablet. I work on Luna's story. We don't talk about that night. We don't talk about Michelle. We don't talk about anything that matters. But something has shifted. I can feel it in the way I hold myself, the way I don't automatically jump up to refill his coffee cup, the way I don't ask if he wants me to pack his lunch. Small things, but they feel revolutionary. On Wednesday, James texts me. "How's the book coming along?" Just that simple question makes my chest warm. Someone remembering, someone caring about something I care about. Really well, actually. Luna's finding her way. Like her creator? I stare at that message for a long time. Am I finding my way? It doesn't feel like finding. It feels like remembering. Like waking up from a dream I didn't realize I was having. Maybe. It's scary. The best things usually are. Thursday evening, Mia shows up at my door with Thai takeout and wine. "Okay," she says, pushing past me into the kitchen. "We're having an intervention. You've been weird for days, and Ethan looked like a kicked puppy at the grocery store yesterday." "You saw Ethan?" "Ran right into him in the frozen food aisle. He asked if I'd talk to you. Said you've been distant lately." She makes air quotes with her fingers. "I told him maybe he should try talking to his own wife." Mia's been my best friend since college. She was my maid of honor. She's also never liked Ethan, though she's been tactful enough not to say it directly until recently. "So," she continues, unpacking containers of pad thai and green curry, "tell me about this mysterious disappearance Saturday night, and don't you dare say you just went home early." I pour us both wine and sit down at the kitchen table, the same table where Ethan and I used to eat breakfast together every morning, back when we still talked to each other. "I left with someone." Mia's fork freezes halfway to her mouth. "You what now?" "Not like that, just I couldn't watch him flirt with Michelle anymore, so when James asked if I wanted to get some air, I said yes. And then we left, together." "James? As in James Morrison, the keynote speaker? You know him?" "Sarah, honey, everyone knows him. He's like the most eligible bachelor in the city right now. Successful, gorgeous, recently separated." She leans forward. "And he asked you to leave with him?" "It wasn't like that," I say quickly. "We just talked, had coffee and pie at that all-night diner on Route 9. Yes. Until what time?" "Midnight. Maybe later." Mia sits back in her chair, studying my face. And how did that make you feel? Like myself. For the first time in, God, I don't even know how long. And Ethan? Ethan was too busy with Michelle to notice I was gone until someone else pointed it out. We eat in silence for a few minutes. Mia's processing. I can see the wheels turning. Sarah, she says finally, can I ask you something? And I want you to really think about your answer. I nod. When's the last time you were excited to see Ethan come home? The question hits me like a physical blow. I open my mouth to answer and then close it again, because I can't remember. When's the last time you looked forward to spending time with him? When's the last time you felt butterflies when he kissed you? When's the last time you felt like he chose you? Each question is another cut, another piece of evidence for a case I've been trying not to build. Mia, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to wake you up. You've been sleepwalking through your marriage for 2 years, and I've been watching you disappear piece by piece. Tears start sliding down my cheeks. Because she's right. About all of it. I don't know how to leave, I whisper. Who says you have to leave? Maybe you just have to stop accepting less than you deserve. That night, Ethan comes home with flowers. Grocery store flowers, still in the plastic sleeve, but flowers nonetheless. What are these for, I ask, though I already know. Guilt flowers, apology flowers. Please don't leave me flowers. Do I need a reason to buy my wife flowers? Yes, I think, you do, because you never have before. Not unless it was Valentine's Day or my birthday or some other obligation. Thank you, I say instead. I put them in a vase and set them on the counter. Sarah, he says as I'm filling the vase with water, I've been thinking about what you said the other night. I turn around. He's standing in the doorway, hands in his pockets, looking uncomfortable. And I think maybe we should go to counselling. Counselling. The relationship Hail Mary. The last resort when you've tried everything else except actually trying. What brought this on? I don't want to lose you. The words should make me happy. They should make me feel seen, valued, fought for. Instead, they make me sad. Because he's not afraid of losing me. He's afraid of losing the convenience of me. The safety net of me. The idea of me. Ethan, I say carefully. What's my middle name? He blinks. What? My middle name, what is it? Sarah, what does that have to do with? Just answer the question. He opens and closes his mouth. He doesn't know. We've been married for 3 years, together for 5, and he doesn't know my middle name. It's Grace, I say quietly. Sarah Grace Morrison, like my grandmother. I told you that when we got engaged. You said it was beautiful. His face flushes red. I'm sorry, What's my favourite colour? Blue. Green. What's my biggest fear? Sarah, stop being forgotten, being invisible, ceasing to matter. I turn back to the flowers. Congratulations, Ethan. You've managed to trigger all 3. That's not fair. I whirl around. Fair? You want to talk about fair? Is it fair that I've spent 3 years shrinking myself to fit into the spaces you left for me? Is it fair that you notice when I'm not here to make your coffee, but not when I'm crying myself to sleep next to you? Is it fair that you know more about Michelle's divorce than you do about your own wife's dreams? I know about your dreams. Name one, right now. Name one thing I want for my future that doesn't involve you. He can't. Of course he can't. I want to illustrate children's books, I say. I want to travel to Ireland and see where my great-grandmother was born. I want to learn how to play piano. I want to have a garden and grow my own tomatoes. I want to matter to someone. Really matter. You matter to me. No, Ethan, I serve a function for you. I make your life easier. I make you look good. I make you feel secure. But you don't actually see me. You see the role I play. He starts to argue, but I hold up my hand. I'll go to counselling with you, I say, but not to save our marriage, to figure out if there's anything left worth saving. That weekend, James texts again. How was your week? Complicated. But clarifying, want to talk about it? I'm giving a lecture at the university tonight. Coffee after. I stare at the message. Ethan is upstairs watching TV. He didn't ask what I was doing tonight, didn't suggest we do anything together, just assumed I'd be here when he got hungry or needed something. What's the lecture about? Finding your authentic self in a world that profits from your self-doubt. I laugh out loud. The universe has a sense of humour. I'll be there. I don't tell Ethan where I'm going. I just leave a note on the kitchen counter. Gone out, back later. S. No explanation, no apology, no promise to have dinner ready when he gets hungry. For the first time in 3 years, I'm just gone. The lecture hall is packed. James commands the stage with the kind of confidence I remember having once, before I learned to make myself smaller. We live in a culture that teaches us to doubt ourselves, he says, pacing across the stage, to second-guess our instincts, to apologise for taking up space, to question whether we deserve the things we want. I feel like he's speaking directly to me. But here's the thing about authenticity. It's not something you find. It's something you remember. It's something you stop hiding. After the lecture, we walk across campus to a little coffee shop I remember from my college days, the one where I used to write poetry and dream about my future. Good lecture, I say as we settle into a corner booth. Thanks. Felt like I was preaching to the choir tonight. Lots of people looking for permission to be themselves. Is that what I'm doing? Looking for permission? Are you? I think about it. About the note I left for Ethan. About the way I didn't apologise for leaving. About the way it felt to just go. Maybe. Or maybe I'm learning that I don't need permission. I just need courage. And do you have it? Courage. I look around the coffee shop. At the college, students hunched over laptops chasing their dreams. At the professors grading papers still passionate about their work after all these years. At the couples talking and laughing and actually seeing each other. I'm starting to... My phone buzzes. A text from Ethan. Where are you? I'm hungry and there's nothing for dinner. Not, are you okay? Not, I miss you, just, I'm hungry. I show James the message. He shakes his head. You know what's interesting about that text, he says. What? It tells you everything you need to know about how he sees you. You're not his partner. You're his service provider. The words sting because they're true. I type back, there's sandwich stuff in the fridge. 3 minutes later, that's not dinner. I turn my phone face down on the table. I used to make these elaborate meals, I tell James. Spend hours in the kitchen, trying new recipes, setting the table with candles. He'd eat while scrolling through his phone, barely tasting anything. Then, leave his plate on the table for me to clean up. When did you stop? Last month, I realised I was cooking for someone who wasn't really there. And how did that feel? Liberating and terrifying, like I was admitting something I didn't want to be true. James reaches across the table and covers my hand with his. It's not romantic, it's just human. Connection, warmth. Sarah, he says, you don't have to stay in a relationship that makes you feel invisible. You know that, right? I know. In my head I know. But my heart, your heart is grieving. That's normal. You're mourning the relationship you thought you had, the person you thought he was, the person you thought you were together. How do you know all this? Because I've been there. Because I stayed in my marriage for 2 years after I knew it was over, hoping if I just tried harder, if I just loved more, if I just asked for less. But it didn't work. It never works. You can't love someone into loving you back, not the way you need to be loved. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Ethan. Are you coming home tonight? Finally. A question that sounds like it comes from someone who cares about the answer. But it's too little, too late. Yes, but not for you. I'm coming home for me. To collect my thoughts. To figure out what comes next. To remember who I was before I became someone's convenient wife. As James walks me to my car, he stops and turns to me. Can I ask you something? Sure. That children's book you're writing, about the Luna finding lost things, how does it end? I smile. For the first time in days, I smile. She realises she was never really lost. She just forgot she had the power to find her own way home. I like that ending. Me too. As I drive home, I think about Luna. about lost things and found courage, about the difference between being alone and being lonely. And for the first time in 3 years, I'm not afraid of either one. When I walk through the front door, Ethan is waiting. Not in the living room scrolling through his phone, not in the kitchen making himself that sandwich. He's standing right there in the entryway like he's been pacing. "We need to talk," he says. "Okay?" "Really? Talk? Not like the other night when you ambushed me with questions I couldn't answer." Ambushed? That's what he calls me asking him to know basic facts about his own wife. I'm listening. He runs his hands through his hair, the same gesture that used to make me melt. Now it just looks like what it is, a nervous habit. "I called Michelle tonight." My stomach drops. Of course he did. "I told her we couldn't be friends anymore, that it wasn't fair to you, or to my marriage. I should feel relieved, vindicated, something. Instead I feel nothing." "Why?" I ask. "Because you're right. I have been taking you for granted. I have been treating you like you're optional, and I don't want to lose you." There it is again. That phrase, "I don't want to lose you." "Ethan," I say carefully, "do you love me? Actually love me? Not the idea of me, not the convenience of me, not the security of me. Me." He opens his mouth immediately, then closes it. The pause tells me everything. He starts, then stops. "I love our life together." That's not the same thing. "I love who I am when I'm with you." "Who are you when you're with me, Ethan? Because I honestly don't know anymore." Another pause, longer this time. "I love that you make everything easier," he says finally. "I love that you take care of things so I don't have to worry about them. I love that you're always there, like a piece of furniture, like a service." "But do you love me?" I ask again. "Do you love the way I laugh when I'm really happy? Do you love watching me get excited about my projects? Do you love the way I see the world? Do you even know the way I see the world?" The silence stretches between us like a chasm. "I want to," he whispers. "I want to learn those things. I want to try. But you don't know them now." "No." At least he's being honest, finally. "And I don't know if wanting to love someone is enough," I say. The next morning, I call in sick to my freelance client and spend the day writing. Not just Luna's story, but my own. Pages and pages of everything I've been feeling, everything I've been afraid to say out loud. Around noon, Mia texts, "Coffee? You sounded weird last night." "Can't." Writing. The book. My life. She shows up anyway, lets herself in with the spare key I gave her years ago and finds me at my desk, surrounded by tissues and empty coffee cups. "Okay," she says, settling into the chair across from me. "Talk." I tell her everything. About James's lecture, about Ethan waiting for me, about his confession that he loves our life together, but couldn't say he loves me. Jesus, Sarah. I know. What are you going to do? I think I'm going to leave. Saying it out loud makes it real. Terrifying and liberating and real. Where will you go? I don't know yet. Maybe stay with you for a while just until I figure things out? Of course. But Sarah... She leans forward. Are you sure? I mean, he's willing to try, to go to counselling. Isn't that worth something? Is it? Is it worth staying in a marriage with someone who has to learn how to love me? Someone who doesn't even know my middle name? Mia doesn't answer right away. I've been thinking about something James said, I continue, about how you can't love someone into loving you back, not the way you need to be loved. And how do you need to be loved? I think about the night at the diner, about James remembering my book, asking follow-up questions, seeing my sadness and naming it, about feeling visible for the first time in years. Like I matter, like my thoughts and dreams and feelings are worth knowing, like I'm interesting enough to pay attention to. And Ethan doesn't make you feel that way. Ethan makes me feel like a really efficient roommate who he occasionally has sex with. The words hang in the air between us. Okay, Mia says finally. When? Soon. This week, maybe. Before I lose my nerve. That evening, I finished Luna's story. Luna stood at the crossroads, holding all the lost things she'd found. Some belonged to other people, and she'd spent so long returning them that she'd forgotten to look for her own. But there, at her feet, was the most important lost thing of all, her courage. It had been there the whole time, waiting for her to pick it up. So, she did, and for the first time in a very long time, Luna knew exactly where she was going. I saved the document and closed my laptop. Tomorrow, I'll send it to the publisher who's been waiting for it. Tonight, I need to have one more conversation. Ethan is in the living room watching the news when I come downstairs. He looks up when I enter, hope flickering across his face. I've finished my book tonight, I say, sitting in the chair across from him instead of next to him on the couch. That's great, honey. What's it about again? And there it is. The question that proves he hasn't been listening. Not really, not ever. It's about a girl who learns that some things can't be found because they were never really lost. They were just forgotten. That sounds beautiful. Ethan, I am leaving. The words come out calm and clear. No tears, no drama, just truth. He mutes the TV. What do you mean, leaving? I mean, I'm moving out this week. I can't do this anymore. Sarah, please. Don't make any big decisions right now. You're upset. We can work through this. I'm not upset, Ethan. I'm awake. For the first time in 3 years, I'm completely awake. But I said I'd try. I said I'd change. You shouldn't have to try to love your wife. You shouldn't have to change into someone who sees me. It should just be. So that's it? You're just giving up? I'm not giving up. I'm choosing myself. For the first time in our entire relationship, I'm choosing me. He stands up, starts pacing. Is this about him? About James? No, this is about us. About the fact that there is no us. There's you, and there's the person who makes your life convenient. And I'm tired of being that person. I can change, Sarah. I can learn to be better. I believe you can, but I can't wait around hoping you will. I can't shrink myself small enough to fit into the space you're willing to give me. Where will you go? Does it matter? The question stops him cold, because we both know the answer. It doesn't matter to him where I go, as long as it's not here, making him face what our marriage really is. I'll pack my things tomorrow while you're at work, I say. I'll leave my keys on the kitchen counter. Sarah. Ethan, please, don't make this harder than it already is. The next day, James texts. As I'm packing my clothes. How are you today? Different. Good, different. Care to elaborate? I look around our bedroom, at the wedding photos on the dresser, at Ethan's clothes mixed with mine in the closet, at the life I'm leaving behind. I'm leaving my husband. My phone rings immediately. Sarah, are you okay? I'm terrified and relieved and sad and free. Is it possible to feel all those things at once? Absolutely. Are you safe? Do you need anything? I'm safe. Mia's coming to help me move. And James. Yeah? Thank you for seeing me, for reminding me I deserve to be seen. You do deserve that, and you're going to find it. Maybe I already have. There's a pause on the other end of the line. Sarah, he says carefully, I don't want to complicate things for you right now. You need time to figure out who you are outside of your marriage. But when you're ready, I'd like to take you to dinner. A real dinner. The kind where we sit across from each other and I ask you about your day and actually listen to the answer. I smile through my tears. I'd like that too. I leave the sticky note on the coffee maker one last time. Not for Ethan. For me. You deserve to be someone's first choice. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to take up space. You deserve love that doesn't require you to disappear. Go find it. Sarah Grace. Mia honks in the driveway. My boxes are already in her car. My easel, my books, my laptop with Luna's finished story. All the pieces of myself I'd forgotten I had. I lock the door and leave my keys on the kitchen counter like I promised. But I take something with me that I didn't have when I walked out of that party 2 weeks ago. I take my voice back, and for the first time in 3 years, I'm not afraid to use it. 6 months later, Luna's story hits bestseller lists. The dedication reads, "For everyone who's ever felt lost, you were never missing, you were just waiting to be found." And in the author photo, I'm smiling, really, truly smiling. because I finally found my way home to myself.